And good morning from up above Shrewsbury Station. And another journey starts from Shrewsbury this week. And today I'm going to be doing the Ffestiniog round robin, and I'm going to be going in a circular journey in an anti-clockwise direction. So I'm just going to pop down there and catch the 7:28 to Llandudno Junction, Llandudno Junction. I think then there's a rail replacement bus that will take me to Blaenau Ffestiniog. From Blaenau Ffestiniog down to Porthmadog, and finally Porthmadog back to Shrewsbury. So big circle, lots and lots of gap time in all those journeys, so it should be okay, and lots of time for catching up and seeing how it's going. Now, I've already done the North Wales line on the Gerald, so this run to Llandudno Junction probably won't have quite so much on, but I thought if I sit on the other side of the train, then at least we'll get a view of what it was like on the other side of the train. So I'm going to do that, and then well, we'll see how the bus is. But for now, I'm going to bid you a goodbye from Shrewsbury, and next time I pop up, we'll have seen how it's gone. So I expect your first question is probably, what is a round robin ticket? So hopefully this Transport for Wales map can help. Basically, you can go round in a loop that includes the Ffestiniog Railway in either a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. The choice is yours, and it will probably be ruled by the train times from your chosen starting station. If your journey all takes place on the solid red lines, you will pay a slightly lower price than if you start on the dotted lines further afield. And here are the prices for the time when I shot this video. Now, given that just a ride on the Ffestiniog can be incredibly expensive, this actually looks a pretty good deal. So this video will be part one of my journey, and it will see us leaving Shrewsbury up the Welsh border to Chester and then along the North Wales line to Llandudno Junction. After that, I'll be jumping on a rail replacement bus, which will take me parallel to the railway line down to the slate mining centre of Blaenau Ffestiniog. And then hopefully I'll pick up the Ffestiniog Railway down to Porthmadog for a late lunch and maybe a couple of beers. So today I think distance and time is really immaterial. This one is definitely all about the journey and not really the destination. Right, I've already got my ticket, and that's just as well, as the train is due quite soon and I'm pleased to see it's pretty much on time. And there's no need to trouble the ticket barriers, as we are leaving from platform 3 today and we can just sneak in the back gate. And here comes our train, and it is a little 2-car Class 150 unit. This will now be my companion for the nearly 2 hours to Llandudno Junction, and it's already run up all the way from South Wales this morning. And just leaving the station, the line for Crewe and Manchester peels off to the right, but we continue on for Wrexham and Chester. And I do like the cream bricks at Gobowen Station, very nice. Sitting on this side, I was keen to see the Chirk Aqueduct, but as it turns out I just get a little glimpse of the water, that's all. And something at Chirk you can't miss on this side is Kronospan. And they make wood-based panels and laminate flooring, opening in 1970 and employing over 600 people. And what a fabulous March morning this is as we pass over the River Dee and enjoy the views from the Kevin Viaduct. Wrexham's platforms seem to be a little offset, so it appears we've passed the station when we're looking this way. And we're soon back on our way through the countryside heading for Chester. And here's Chester Racecourse. There's been horse racing at Chester since the early 16th century, and therefore the Guinness Book of Records recognise it as the oldest racecourse still in operation. And back we go, heading for the North Wales coastline, and soon we are passing the UK factory of Airbus, which of course also needs an airport. So let's do a quick seat tour on our 150. Well, the tray table is small but sturdy and can support my tea. Legroom is tight, as you'd expect from what is really now classed as a commuter train. There is, however, both a 3-pin and a pair of USB sockets. And up top there's no blinds, and as we aren't air conditioned, you can open the hopper windows if you wish. There's also a good deal of luggage space in the chunky looking racks, and the overall lighting is, shall we say, a little Spartan. Flint appears to have a massive severed foot outside the station. And now we're on the North Wales main line. Our little 150 can reach its top speed of 75 miles per hour. And at Rhyl, there's what I guess is some carriage sidings. There must have been a lot more back in the day when Rhyl would have been teeming with day trippers and passengers starting or ending their summer holidays. Rhyl really does have the feeling of somewhere which used to be a very grand and busy station indeed. And there are literally many miles of statics all along this coast. After Pensan, we pick up the A55 North Wales Expressway, which we will track alongside all the way to Llandudno Junction. And that's it, our first leg is done as we pull into Llandudno Junction. Well, that's the first leg done. Yeah, Class 150, doing a bit of Stirling service, pressed into action on the 5-hour journey from Cardiff to Holyhead. Anyway, it's now 10 past 10 and I've got to pick up a bus now to Ffestiniog, so I'm going to go around to the front of the station and hopefully pick up this rail replacement bus. I actually had a rather draggy 70-minute wait here at Llandudno Junction for the rail replacement bus, but of course in video world all that time can disappear. And we all stood around in the shelter hoping the bus would arrive, and thankfully it rolled in from Llandudno. And soon we're off on what you could say is my first ever bus trip on the channel. The road and the train this bus replaces both track up the valley of the River Conwy to Ffestiniog. And we're right alongside the trackbed here, and the mountains of Snowdonia stand behind, brooding in the rain clouds. And we finally cross the Conwy on the approaches to Ffestiniog. I have been here once before and I'd forgotten just how touristy it is. However, I do like that they put the station buildings to good use. Yes. And as you might expect, quite a lot of passengers alighted here. Soon we cross over the Conwy to continue our southbound trek. At the charmingly titled Fairy Glen, the bus crosses the Conwy one last time, and soon we'll be going over the hills to Ffestiniog. But the railway is never far away. And once we're past Dolladellen, we just have to go up into the clouds over the Crimea Pass. A cascade of slate heralds our entrance to Ffestiniog. There's a couple of super ghost signs here, one for the co-op and then somewhere where you could rent a TV or radio back in the day. And that's it, the second leg is completed, and that was a very pleasant bus ride. Not quite the train ride I'd hoped for, but I still enjoyed that Snowdonia countryside, and I hope you did too.
They put me back 20 minutes, didn't they?
Oh yeah, we just missed the T10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I couldn't do anything about it.
No.
Don't worry, it's fine by me. The area has produced slate primarily for roofing since around 1750, right up to the present day, although the major period for production was between 1850 and 1890. And welcome to the narrow platform at Ffestiniog, and just over there, the platforms for the actual Ffestiniog railway. Well, that bus ride was actually quite fun, wasn't it? It went over some beautiful countryside, and yeah, it was not a problem at all. And now here we are on the narrow platform at the mainline station, but over there it's all very quiet. But actually, I can hear the train puffing up the hill, so it's going to be here very, very soon. So I think I might stay on this platform and catch it coming in from the slightly elevated position, and then walk over the bridge and take a closer look. I'm not quite sure why the train was held just off the platform, but eventually it drew forward. So let's hop over the footbridge and have a closer look at our train. Our locomotive today is number 10, called Merthin Emrys, which is the oldest double Fairley locomotive operating on the line. It was originally built in Porthmadog at the Boston Lodge Works in 1879 and then rebuilt there in 1988. Well, the first class looks nice enough, but it's not for the likes of us with just a round robin ticket. So let's wander down the platform and select ourselves a third class seat. Oh, quick, our loco is running round. Anyway, this one at the back looks pretty empty. It's in a 2+1 configuration, all with table seating. And some of the tables even include a lovely map of the line. These tables are hinged for easier access, but this pair of seats along will do me nicely, so before we set off, how about a Ffestiniog Railway seat tour? Well, the seat cushion is nicely padded and there's plenty of back support, and I'm just loving the FR moquette. Up above there's some small hopper windows for ventilation, as of course there isn't any air conditioning. And also there was not any coat hooks or blind. After all, this is third class. And we're off back down to the coast at Porthmadog. I'm reminded to say as we pull out that the station does have toilets and also a small shop. We'll follow the standard gauge tracks for a little while before we part company and we swing to the southwest. And although it's misty, the low clouds mixing with the exhaust from the steam engine gives a really magical feeling to this part of the journey. And the portions of the line already feel like we are just squeezing through the landscape, as often we have a rock wall on one side of the train. Looking down on the village, this really is quite precipitous. And with the reservoir appearing behind us, we pass through Tan Ugrisii. And we now enter the newest part of the line. This section, known as the deviation, had to be built on a completely new route, as the original route had been lost under the reservoir. A volunteer workforce undertook the work between 1965 and 1978. And beyond the power station, the route of the old line is still clearly visible. The 280 metre new Moelwan tunnel was constructed by 3 Cornish tin mining engineers assisted by a very small team, so it might not be the Channel Tunnel, but it was a marvellous effort. And down below us is where we'll be when we complete the spiral. And around we go. We'll be down there very soon. And as we pass the station and go under the bridge, we have finally regained the original track bed for the rest of the run. So, a little bit about the Ffestiniog Railway itself. The Ffestiniog Railway Company was incorporated in 1832 and is therefore the oldest railway company that is still in operation anywhere in the world, having escaped both grouping and nationalisation in the 20th century. The line itself was constructed between 1833 and 1836 to transport the slate down to the harbour side at Porthmadog for transshipment by sea. The slate was initially rolled down the hill on wagons, with the empty wagons being hauled back up by horses, but to increase capacity steam locomotives were introduced in 1863. Return tickets from Porthmadog to Blaenau Ffestiniog are currently priced for the 2023 season at £44 for an adult and just £2 for a child under 16 in standard class. However, if you want to sit in that observation car at each end, you would have to pay £66 for an adult and £33 for a child. But I think we can agree that my £26 round robin ticket is now looking pretty good value. Whilst you're free to go clockwise or anti-clockwise on a round robin, my train times dictated that I had to go anti-clockwise and therefore descend on the Ffestiniog. Now, I would understand that many would prefer to climb, so there's a lot more chuff-chuff from the locomotive. But it turned out there are also many coach trips that include travel in the uphill direction only, so the train was packed coming up. But as you can see, downhill I had the place pretty much to myself. And the mainline railway sign at Minford highlights this dual level station serves both lines. And it's great to get a quick glimpse of Boston Lodge Railway Works. It's most impressive. And we're nearly done. All that's left now is to traverse the Cobb to get us to Porthmadog Harbour Station. What a wonderful ride this has been. And we're into Porthmadog with plenty of time to do some train spotting, have lunch and maybe even get a couple of beers. But before we go, let's have a look at this NGG 16 class Garrett locomotive that will soon be heading out to Carnarvon on the Welsh Highland Railway service. Even in March the station is very busy, which is very nice to see. There's platforms for both the Ffestiniog and the Welsh Highland line, a ticket office, toilets and also Spooner's Cafe and Bar, who will soon be taking some of my money. Well, that was a great ride on the Ffestiniog. I hope you enjoyed that. And now I'm at Porthmadog. And the West Highland Railway train is about to leave in about 5 minutes, as far as I can tell. It comes along here and, well, basically goes up the street a bit as it has to cross this bridge along with the traffic. So I'm expecting they're going to stop all the traffic and everything, and then we can see a train going down the street. Always a fun thing to do, isn't it? So yeah, let's go and do that. So this marks the end of part 1 of the round robin trip, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you have, then do give it a like and also subscribe to the channel so you won't miss part 2. And also lots of other trips that come out on the channel every Friday, with some bonus videos on a Monday as well. So do join me next time for part 2 and the Shrewsbury bound trip along the stunning Cambrian coastline. But for now, it's goodbye from Porthmadog and thanks for watching.